Hello and welcome to episode 32 of Sarastro's Star Wars Legion painting series. In this episode I'll be painting Maul from Atomic Mass Games' Star Wars Legion. As usual, I'll begin by assembling the model, and we have a couple of nice options for the arms, including a Darksaber. You can see I chose to go with the classic double-bladed lightsaber, however. I've then primed the model in black and provided some zenithal highlights, pushing the values up for the lightsaber and the face in particular. I've also provided my basing at this stage as detailed in the previous episodes. I'll then be painting the miniature starting with the face, then working my way round the rest of the model. Along the way I'll be introducing a gentle amount of object source lighting, and I'll be indulging in some non-metallic metal effects. As usual, you'll find chapter links to help navigate the video. Let's jump straight in with the painting. I'm going to begin by mixing a pale yellow for the eyes. I'm mixing intense yellow and white for this, and I want the paint to be pretty opaque. I'm now using some black to paint the pupils and the surrounding area. Next I'm painting the entire face area using Antares Red, with an optional bit of blood red mixed in for the more shadowed areas. Applying the Antares Red over the white zenithal highlights like this gives us a wonderfully vibrant tone. I'm now painting the rest of the head using black mixed with Caspian Blue. I'm also using this for the horns for now, before drawing on the tattoos. When correcting mistakes, I'd begin with a reapplication of some white before applying the red, in order to achieve maximum vibrancy. I'm now painting the teeth using Nacar mixed with a little black. And here I'm shading them down with some thinned sepia shade. Next I'm increasing the amount of Caspian Blue in the black mix and providing a few highlights to the black areas. and I'm now painting the exposed part of the torso. For the horns, I'm using Iroko mixed with a little brown leather. I'm now brightening the ends up to pure Iroko. And for the very tips, I'm mixing in some Tenere Yellow. With the head complete, let's now move on to the rest of the figure. For the inner layer of clothing, I'm using a roughly equal mix of brown leather and petroleum grey to give me a somewhat desaturated brown tone. And for the rest of the outfit, I'm using a roughly equal mix of black and Abyssal Blue. I'm aiming for full opacity for the robes, but might go a little thinner for the more textured metallic areas to allow some natural shading to occur, such as we can see here on the belt. A thin layer of this will also work well for the handle of the lightsaber. Next I'm going to paint the lightsaber, where I'm first providing a clean undercoat of pure white. I'm now mixing in small amounts of Aldeberan Red to introduce some colour. There are lots of different ways to paint a lightsaber, and here I'm aiming to produce an outer red glow when viewed from two main angles, the front and the back. As you might expect, I went back and forth a bit, always keeping the paint reasonably thinned. To create some further interest, I also experimented with introducing a hint of yellow in the white areas. And I also pushed the red slightly with some Antares Red. I might do a little further refining here later on, but now I'm going to paint the base. For the stony ruins, I'm initially using some thinned Petroleum Grey to provide some shading, then sketching in some midtones and highlights using Iroko mixed with Graphite and white sands respectively. I'm now providing a light dry brush over the whole base before applying my Geonosis shade mix of Argrax Earthshade and Fugan Orange. Next I'm going to highlight the outfit, starting with the inner clothing, where I'm adding some walnut to the brown leather and petroleum grey base tone. For the upper right arm, I'm also introducing a little of the red and white tones of the lightsaber to create some subtle object source lighting. Next I'm going to highlight the black robes by adding increasing amounts of Thar Brown to the base tone. And here I'm once again introducing a gentle amount of object source lighting. In a darkened environment, you could push this idea a lot further, of course. For the metallic areas, I'm switching to the Scalecolor Artist paints because I prefer a slightly more satin finish when working in a non-metallic metal style. I'm mainly using a bluish grayscale by mixing black, white and Prussian blue, but will also incorporate some of the warmer vanilla white into the highlights to create some further variation. We can be pretty bold and sketchy here. Here I've decided to push the levels of blue in some of these midtones. I'm now using a little orange leather to create the impression of light bouncing up from the reddish ground. And I'm once again playing with some touches of objects or slighting, which I'm applying as sharp glints. Next I'm giving the lights on the front of the belt an undercoat of pure white. Followed with a layer of Vallejo's Fluorescent Red. I've now decided to return to the robes, where I'm using some thinned deep blue to gently push the tonal contrast by applying this into some of the shadow and midtones. This looks a lot less saturated once dry, but gently heightens the contrast against the red of the lightsaber. I'm now applying a few final highlights and refinements, including a little dark lining. And this completes Maul. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you've enjoyed the episode. As usual, you'll find a full product list in the video description, along with all of the places I can be found online. Join me again soon, and happy painting!